the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Today we'll be discussing on the topic of Hadith. Right? So before we start, we seek refuge in God from Satan the rejected. I hope those who are online can hear me loud and clear. Maybe we wait for one moment just to check on the sound before we start the session proper. So in the meantime, you can take a look, okay, at the map first. And if you don't mind, can you send me the link? I will send it to some of those who have difficulty accessing the link. So just give us 1 or 2 minutes, and once the technical issues are settled, we will start the session proper. So you can use this time in the meantime to think about how your understanding of this word hadith, how it impacted your life from young until at this point of time. Okay, let's begin. So the topic of hadith is very prominent um, within the Muslim community. Okay, hadith is always understood as a narration, story, history. Yeah, so these are a few words that is associated to this Arabic term hadith. So in this map, we will look at how people accuse the Prophet of writing a hadith, right? And God also challenged them to say that bring your own hadith if you can. And the second part is a challenge from God to ask you which hadith do you want. And then the third part talks about the various types of hadith. Right? So hadith is a narration. So here this part we will look at all the different type of hadith, and the last part is how would you respond to the hadith of God. So before we start, we need to make clear our understanding of the hadith, and you need to differentiate, is this hadith from God or from humans, because that makes a very big difference to the destiny of your life essentially. Okay, so now I will speak in Malay to cater for the Malay community. Topik hari ini adalah tentang hadis. Untuk siapa yang baru hadir, harap maklum kita baca surah 16 ayat 98. Aku berlindung pada Tuhan dari syaitan yang terkutuk. Dan topik hari ini kita membincangkan tentang hadis. Hadis itulah satu penyampaian atau sejarah atau cerita. Okay. So topik ini dipecahkan 4 bahagian. Yang pertama adalah bawalah hadis kamu cabaran atau orang atau sekumpulan manusia di pada zaman Nabi menuduh Nabi menulis perkataan ni sendirilah, menulis kitab ni sendirilah. So yang kedua pula, Tuhan mencabar apa hadis manakah yang kamu hendak berpegang kepada. Yang ketiga adalah tentang contoh-contoh hadis yang bermacam-macam. Yang terakhir adalah apa yang patut kita lakukan dengan hadis Tuhan. Jadi hadis ni ada 2 bahagian yang penting kita kena faham. Yang pertama adalah hadis daripada Tuhan, yang kedua hadis yang direka oleh manusia sendiri yang membawa banyak masalah kepada masyarakat. Okay, jadi yang pertama, okay, so the first part we will look at this first section on the top and top left. So we will look at 25 verse 5. This is where the people of the time of the Prophet Muhammad, this is what the people around him accuse him of. They say, legends of the former peoples which he has written down, and they are dictated to him morning and afternoon. Now, this verse itself tells you that, or gives you an implicit understanding that the prophet can actually was able to read and write. Because if he doesn't know how to read and write, why would the people around him accuse him of doing so? It does not make sense, right? So from here we can tell that he was able to read and write. Dan mereka berkata, dongeng-dongengan orang-orang dahulu diminta supaya dituliskan. Maka dibacakanlah dongengan itu kepadanya setiap pagi dan petang. Ini adalah sesuatu penyampaian yang ditujukan kepada Nabi Muhammad apabila dia berada dengan kaum dia. Kaum dia mengatakan yang dia menulis ni dan maklumat ni dibacakan kepadanya. Jadi dari ayat ni kita tahu Nabi sendiri boleh menulis dan membaca. Ayat ni, jikalau ayat ni ada negatif, bermakna tak ada perkataan hadis tu tak ada dalam ayat ni. Tapi yang ada ayat lain, kita boleh melihat perkataan hadis. So just to let all of you know, if you see a negative here or this sign here before the verse, it indicates that the word hadith does not exist in the verse, but it is there just to complement the whole map itself. Okay. Okay, next we will look at 5234. Then let them produce a hadith like it or a statement like it if they should be truthful. This is not challenging those people who oppose or challenge this information. If you think that this is wrong, then you produce one if you can. Maka hendaklah mereka mendatangkan kalimat atau hadis yang semisal Al-Quran itu jika mereka orang-orang yang benar. Perkataan kalimat ni pun perkataan bahasa Arab. Kalimat tu dalam bahasa Arab adalah kata-kata atau words lah dalam bahasa orang putih. Tapi perkataan Arabiknya adalah hadisin. Hadis. Datangkan hadis. So hadis pun kita boleh fikirkan dari segi ada ucapan atau kata-kata. Okay, now we look at 21 verse 2. No mention comes to them anew from their Lord except that they listen to it while they are at play. Now, in this English translation, the word muhadithin. So there's a mu in front here and the word hadith is here. So when we combine these two, every time we see the word mu, it shows a combination of a noun and a verb, right? So hadith, as you know, is a form of narration, right? So muhadith means a person narrating, right? Yeah. So that's why I put the word relaying here. So there's somebody relaying to them. Okay? There's information coming through. And these people, they listen to it while they are at play. They don't take it seriously. And mind you, this is knowledge from the Most High. It's not just an advice given to you by some elders. It's from the Lord of the universe. And humans are taking it in this manner. So it's a very disturbing sign. Tidak datang kepada mereka satu ayat Al-Quran pun yang baru diturunkan dari Tuhan mereka, melainkan mereka mendengarnya sedang mereka bermain-main. Jadi perkataan hadis tu, muhadithin di sini, ada perkataan, ada mu di depannya. So mu ni menunjukkan atau menandakan yang noun dengan verb tu bergabung. Jadi hadis tu adalah satu penyampaian. Jadi ada orang yang menyampaikan penyampaian tu. Pasal dalam ditambahkan yang menyampaikan ilmu lah, ada satu penyampaian daripada seseorang. Tapi orang yang menerima penyampaian tu, mereka bermain-main. Okay, 26 verse 5. And no revelation comes to them anew from the most merciful, except they turn away from it. Okay, so this is also very similar to the previous verse. Okay, that comes to them, actually not revelation, it's actually a reminder. The word zikrin is related to reminder. Wahyu is more on the revelation of Yuha. Okay, so yeah. Dan sekali-sekali tidak datang kepada mereka satu peringatan baru dari Tuhan yang Maha Pemurah. Okay, melainkan mereka selalu berpaling daripadanya. Jadi ayat ini pun mirip seperti yang ayat yang sebelumnya. Okay, sound. Okay. Okay, part 42, 442. That day, those who disbelieve and disobeyed the messenger will wish that they could be covered by the earth, and they will not conceal from God a hadith. So, on the day of resurrection, you have your own hadith that you will bring on the day of judgment, and you cannot conceal it or hide it from God. The hadith of your own story, your own hadith that you will bring. Di hari itu orang-orang kafir dan orang-orang yang mendurhakai Rasul ingin supaya mereka disamaratakan dengan tanah dan mereka tidak dapat menyembunyikan dari Allah satu hadis. The translation here, terjemahnya di sini cakap kejadian, tapi terjemah tepatnya adalah perkataan hadis, sesuatu hadis, kita tak dapat sembunyi. Kita punya rekod kita lah, atau kita punya maklumat yang berpegang pada hidup kita lah. Okay, now we will look at the second part. Now the second section is a challenge issued by the Quran or from God to the people essentially, or to those people who challenge the statements of God or the hadiths of God. We look at 45 verse 6. These are the verses of God which we recite to you in truth. Then in what statement or which hadith after God and his verses will they believe? Itulah ayat-ayat Allah yang kami membacakan kepadamu dengan sebenarnya. Maka dengan hadis manakah atau perkataan mana lagi kah yang mereka beriman sesudah Allah dan keterangannya? 750. Then, in what hadith or in what statement after the Quran will they believe? Maka, pada perkataan atau hadis apakah selain Al-Quran mereka akan beriman? Okay. Do they not look at the realm of the heavens and the earth and everything that God has created and think that perhaps their appointed time has come near? So, in which statement or in which hadith hereafter will they believe? Apakah mereka tidak memperhatikan kerajaan langit dan bumi dan segala sesuatu yang diciptakan Allah dan kemungkinan telah dekat kebinasaan mereka? Maka kepada hadis manakah lagi mereka akan beriman sesudah Al-Quran itu? So this statement is very clear. It challenges you. Which hadith will you take after the Quran? So penyampaian dia terang, yang kitab ni sendiri mencabar kita, apakah maklumat yang hadis manakah yang kita pilih selain Al-Quran. 478. Wherever you may be, death will overtake you, even if you should be within towers of lofty construction. But if good comes to them, they say, this is from God. And if evil befalls them, they say, this is from you. Say, all things are from God. What is the matter of those people? They can hardly understand any hadith or any statement. So this is an example where the messenger is being blamed for bringing important news, and they claim that, oh, you are the one who bring us bad omen, or bring, in a local language they say, bring sway, bring us bad karma or something like that, and they are trying to blame the messenger. This is understandable, especially if you imagine yourself to be in the time of Pharaoh, where Moses actually came to him and tell him that, release the children of Israel. And then after that, there were signs that 9 signs happened to Pharaoh. They were struck by the frogs, the lice, blood, so many. So they accused Moses of, you are bringing a lot of this negativity to us. This is a common scenario, put it that way. Di mana saja kamu berada, kematian akan mendapatkan kamu. Walaupun kamu dalam benteng yang tinggi lagi kokoh. Dan jika mereka memperoleh kebaikan, mereka mengatakan ini adalah dari sisi Allah. Dan kalau mereka ditimpa sesuatu bencana kerana mereka mengatakan ini adalah dari sisi kamu. Katakanlah semuanya dari sisi Allah. Maka mengapakah orang-orang itu hampir-hampir tidak memahami hadis sedikit pun atau pembicaraan sedikit pun. Jadi ini adalah sesuatu yang selalu berlaku. Ibarat contoh zaman Nabi Musa apabila Fir'aun mendapat berita yang dia harus melepaskan Bani Israel. Dia tidak menghormati permintaan itu atau arahan itu, dia tidak menjalankan perintah itu. Dan kaum dia ditimpa macam-macam malapetaka dan mereka menujukan keburukan ini kepada Musa lah, atau menuduhnya keburukan ini datang daripada Musa atau siapa orang yang menyampaikan ayat-ayat Tuhan mereka ditimpa tuduhan mendatangkan suwi atau mendatangkan benda buruk lah. Tapi semua ini datang dari Tuhan. Okay, 487. Okay, Allah or God, there is no deity except Him. He will surely assemble you for an account on the day of resurrection, about that which there is no doubt. And who is more truthful than God in statement or in hadith? So this is the part where you need to understand that the hadith from God is above everything else. It's very, very important. It's not the same as a hadith of a human, right? Allah, tiada Tuhan selain dia. Sesungguhnya dia akan mengumpulkan kamu di hari kiamat dan tidak ada keraguan terjadinya. Siapakah orang yang lebih benar hadisnya atau perkataannya daripada Allah? So ayat kitab ni semua adalah hadis Allah, perkataan dari dia, penyampaian dari dia. Okay, now we will look at the examples of different types of hadith, and we will start with the most important one, 3923. Okay, so kita akan melihat tentang pelbagai hadis atau contoh-contoh hadis, dan kita akan mulakan dengan hadis yang terpaling penting, 39-23. Okay. God has sent down the best hadith or best statement, a consistent book wherein there is iteration. The skins shiver therefore of those who fear their Lord, and their skins and their hearts relax at the remembrance of God. That is the guidance of God by which He guides whom He wills, and one whom God leaves astray, for him there is no guide. So this is very clear-cut, and it's a very important statement. God sends out the best hadith, right? A consistent book. There is a reiteration. Okay, so in Malay, Allah telah menurunkan hadis yang paling baik, Al-Quran yang serupa, lagi berulang-ulang, gemetar kerananya kulit orang-orang yang takut kepada Tuhannya, kemudian menjadi tenang kulit dan hati mereka di waktu mengingat Allah. Itulah petunjuk Allah. Dengan kitab itu, dia menunjuki siapa yang dihendakinya. Barang siapa yang disesatkan Allah, tidak ada baginya seorang pemimpin pun. Okay, now we will look at, okay, since we talk about 39-23, we will link it with chapter 1. This is hadith of God. Kita akan melihat ayat 12 satu-satu kerana gabungannya dengan hadis Tuhan. There was certainly in their stories a lesson for those of understanding. Never was the Al-Quran a narration. Never was the Quran a narration invented, but a confirmation of what was before it, and a detailed explanation of all things, and guidance and mercy for people who believe. So the Quran is not a hadith invented. So this is where the word hadith appears. Sungguhnya pada kisah-kisah mereka itu terdapat pengajaran bagi orang-orang yang mempunyai akal. Al-Quran itu bukanlah hadis yang dibuat-buat, akan tetapi membenarkan yang sebelumnya dan menjelaskan segala sesuatu dan sebagai petunjuk dan rahmat bagi kaum yang beriman. So Al-Quran ini bukan hadis yang dibuat-buat. So ini amat penting pasal kita tahu di masyarakat terdapat banyak bermacam-macam hadis. Dan hadis-hadis ni ada yang mendatangkan masalah, ada yang tak memberi masalah lah, atau membawakan masalah, tapi ada yang membawakan masalah. Jadi kita harus berhati-hati apabila kita menerima maklumat atau decide untuk menerima maklumat. Okay. Now we look at the hadith related to Muhammad. But as a favor of your Lord, report it for hadith. So God is telling the Prophet to relay the message. Dan terhadap nikmat Tuhanmu, hendaklah kamu siarkan, tersampaikan for hadith. 18 verse 6. Okay, then perhaps you would kill yourself through grief over them, O Muhammad, if they do not believe in this hadith out of sorrow. So the Prophet actually felt very sad or very disappointed that his people refused or did not want to receive the message. It's a message from God. Now this message can empower you, if you believe. Become like the people of Jonah. Or in the times of Solomon, they become very powerful because the people received the words of God and they believed in it. And he knows that if you don't believe in it, there will come retribution or judgment in that sense. So your response to the scripture is very, very critical. And he knows, that's why he's very, very upset. He was in grief. Okay? Maka apakah barangkali kamu akan membunuh dirimu kerana bersedih hati setelah mereka berpaling, sekiranya mereka tidak beriman kepada hadis ini atau keterangan ini. Jadi Nabi Muhammad di zaman dia experience atau dia dapati yang kaum dia semua tidak minat kepada penyampaian ini. Okay? Jadi dia rasa macam sedih pasal ayat-ayat Quran ni atau arahan-arahan Tuhan ni akan mentinggikan segolongan kaum atau merendahkan kaum yang sama ni lah, mengikut kita punya reaksi. Jadi mungkin Nabi Muhammad pada masa tu dia tahu ini akan menjejas status kaum dia pada hari itu dan dia amat sedih sekali. Oh, you have believed. Do not enter the houses of the Prophet except when you are permitted for a meal, without awaiting its readiness. But when you are invited, then enter. And when you have eaten, disperse, without seeking to remain for hadith or conversation. Let's see the Arabic term. Yeah, li hadithin. Okay. Indeed, that behavior was troubling to the Prophet. He's shy of dismissing you. But God is not shy of the truth. And when you ask of something, ask them from behind a partition or a hijab. This is purer for your hearts and their hearts. And it is not conceivable or lawful for you to harm the messenger of God or to marry his wives after him, ever. And that will be in the sight of God an enormity. So, just to extend or raise a question, during the time of the Prophet Muhammad himself, the people around him came to his house. God wanted them to limit their interaction, limit the time spent. And if you look at now, what happens today is that there are claims that the hadith narrates the private details of the stories of the Prophet, saying how he do certain things in his private life, which is totally contrary to what's happening here in the Quran. Because the Quran here says that his time spent with the Prophet has to be limited. because they come in with the wrong intention apparently, right? Hai orang-orang yang beriman, janganlah kamu masuki rumah-rumah Nabi kecuali bila kamu diizinkan untuk makan dengan tidak menunggu-nunggu waktu masak atau waktu persiapan makan. Tetapi jika kamu diundang, maka masuklah, dan bila kamu selesai makan, keluarlah. Tanpa memperpanjangkan percakapan. Perkataan ini adalah hadithin. Hadithin. Sesungguhnya yang demikian itu mengganggu Nabi, lalu Nabi malu untuk menyuruh kamu keluar, dan Allah tidak malu menerangkan yang benar. Apabila kamu meminta sesuatu kepada mereka, mintalah dari belakang tabir. Cara itu lebih suci bagi hatimu dan hati mereka, dan tidak boleh kamu menyakiti Rasulullah, dan tidak pula mengawini isteri-isterinya selama-lamanya sesudah ia wafat. Sebenarnya perbuatan itu adalah amat besar dosanya di sisi Allah. Okay, so dari ayat ini kita dapat tahu yang kaum-kaum atau orang-orang yang dekat dengan Nabi Muhammad sendiri, mereka tak dapat meluangkan masa yang banyak dengan Nabi. Mereka dihalau atau disuruh keluar lepas mereka makan. Jadi kalau kita bandingkan situasi ni dengan gambaran hadis yang kita selalu baca, hadis tu selalu menerangkan tentang cerita-cerita peribadi Nabi yang kadang-kadang ada menjadi satu soalan bagi kita. Pasal apa yang dibincangkan dalam ayat Quran ni tak sama dengan apa yang berlaku dalam hadis yang diceritakan, kebanyakan hadis. Okay, 66 verse 3. Can remember when the Prophet confided to one of his wives a hadith or a statement. When she was informed of it, when she informed another of it, God showed it to him, and he made known part of it and ignored a part. When he informed her about it, she said, "Who told you about this?" He said, "I was informed by the knowing, the acquainted." So the wife was shocked. How did this secret get to the Prophet? How did he know about it? The Prophet actually raised a part of it but didn't really mention the other part. Dan ingatlah ketika Nabi membicarakan secara rahsia kepada salah seorang isterinya suatu hadis atau satu peristiwa, maka tak kala bracket Hafsah menceritakan peristiwa itu dan Allah memberitahukan hal itu kepada Muhammad, lalu Muhammad memberitahukan sebahagian dan menyembunyikan sebahagian yang lain, maka tak kala Muhammad memberitahukan pembicaraan, lalu ia bertanya, siapakah yang memberitahu hal ini kepadamu? Nabi menjawab, yang diberitahukan kepadaku ialah Allah yang maha pengetahui, lagi maha mengenali. Okay, next we will look at Abraham's hadith 51:24. Has there reached you the hadith or the story of honored guests of Abraham? So you can see this Quran as a collection of hadith also, but hadith that comes from God. Now in this case, for this part of the verse, it's narrating to you the hadith of Abraham. Sudahkah sampai kepadamu hadis tentang tamu Ibrahim yang dimuliakan? Jadi kita boleh lihat Quran ini sebagai satu kumpulan hadis-hadis, tapi yang disampaikan dari Tuhan, bukan dari manusia. 20 verse 9. And has the story or the hadith of Moses reached you? Apakah telah sampai kepadamu hadis Musa? So from this verse, if you read the following verse, it starts telling you the story or the hadith of Moses, right? Chapter 20 verse 9 onwards. Jadi lepas ayat ni, ayat Quran tu menceritakan atau membuka cerita tentang hadis Musa. And this verse is the same as the previous. As I reached you the story of Moses, sampaikah kepadamu kisah Musa. And if you read the verses after that, it tells you the story of Moses. Okay. Now we look at the story of Joseph. 3 verses. For the story of Joseph, it's slightly different because he talks about the ta'wil of or the ta'wil of hadith. Ta'wil is the interpretation or how you decode the meaning of or the story of something. In this case, it's a dream. Okay? And thus, will your Lord choose you and teach you the interpretation of hadith, narration, and complete his favor upon you and upon the family of Jacob, as he completed it upon your fathers before, Abraham and Isaac. Indeed, your Lord is knowing and wise. Dan demikianlah Tuhanmu telah memilih kamu dan diajarkannya kepadamu sebahagian dari takwil atau takbir mimpi-mimpi. Okay? But this one they translate as dreams lah, mimpi. But the actual term is hadith. But if you know the story, then the story talks about the Joseph being able to interpret dreams, atau Yusuf dapat menerangkan isu mimpi yang dihadapinya. Dan disempurnakannya nikmatnya kepadamu dan kepada keluarga Yakub, sebagaimana dia telah menyempurnakan nikmatnya kepada 2 orang bapakmu sebelum itu, Ibrahim dan Ishak. Sesungguhnya Tuhanmu Maha mengetahui lagi Maha bijaksana. Ya. Okay. And the one from Egypt who bought him said to his wife, "Make his residence comfortable. Perhaps he will benefit us, or we will adopt him as a son." Okay. Sorry. Thus we establish Joseph in the land, we teach him the interpretation of hadith. God is predominant over his affair, most people do not know. Orang Mesir yang membelinya berkata kepada istrinya, berikanlah kepadanya tempat yang baik, boleh jadi ada manfaat kepada kita atau kita pungut dia sebagai anak. Dan demikian pula kami memberikan kedudukan yang baik kepada Yusuf di muka bumi. Dan agar kami ajarkan kepadanya takwil mimpi atau takwil hadis yang telah berkuasa terhadap urusannya. Tapi kebanyakan manusia tidak mengetahui. My Lord, you have given me something of sovereignty and taught me the interpretation of hadith. Creator of the heavens and earth, you are my protector in this world and the hereafter. Cause me to die Muslim, join me with the righteous. Ya Tuhanku, sesungguhnya Engkau telah menganugerahkan kepadaku sebahagian kerajaan dan telah mengajarkan kepadaku sebahagian takwil mimpi. Pencipta langit dan bumi, Engkau lah pelindungku di dunia dan di akhirat. Wafatkanlah aku dalam keadaan Muslim dan gabungkanlah aku bersama orang-orang yang soleh. Okay, now we look at the hadith of the soldiers, 85:17. Has there reached you the hadith of the soldiers, or the story of the soldiers? Sudahkah datang kepadamu hadis kaum-kaum penentang? And then the verses after that tell you the story of these soldiers, what happened to them. Ayat seterusnya menceritakan tentang hadis askar-askar ni. Has there reached you the hadith of the overwhelming event? Sudahkah datang kepadamu berita atau hadis hari pembalasan? Okay, so from here you can see there's so many different hadith that the Quran actually bring forth, and all these hadiths come from God. So it's a very different. It doesn't come from a human or narration, or like Chinese whispers they say. Okay. Okay, now we will look at the last part. What will you do? 55:39. Then, at this statement, do you wonder, or at this hadith, do you wonder? Maka apakah kamu merasa heran terhadap hadis ini? Then is it to this statement or hadis that you are indifferent or you take it lightly? Maka apakah kamu menganggap remeh hadis ini? But this translation they put Al-Quran. Straight away they put Al-Quran. I don't know why they never put the hadis down there. But we know this hadis is referring to the Quran. Okay? 1644. Okay, maybe 1644 we do it last because it's the most impactful one. Now we look at these two. Okay, there are people who mock. It is already come down to you in the book that when you hear the verses of God recited and they are denied and ridiculed, do not sit with them until they enter into another hadith or conversation. Indeed, you will then be like them. God will gather the hypocrites and disbelievers in hell altogether. Sungguhnya Allah telah menurunkan kekuatan kepada kamu. Okay, I'm not sure whether kekuatan ni, I don't know whether this word exists. I don't think so, Okay, but God has sent down the book, and when you hear the verses of the Quran apabila kamu mendengar Al-Quran atau ayat-ayat Allah diingkari dan diperolok-olokkan, janganlah kamu duduk berserta mereka sehingga mereka memasuki pembicaraan yang lain atau hadis yang lain. Kerana sesungguhnya tentulah kamu serupa dengan mereka. Sesungguhnya Allah akan mengumpulkan orang-orang munafik dan orang-orang kafir dalam neraka jahanam. Kita kena berwaspada kepada siapa yang kita meluangkan masa dengan mereka. So you need to be careful how you spend your time, and you need to be careful who you choose as a companion, because that will determine your destiny, where you will go. 31 verse 6, also very important. And of the people is he who buys the amusement of hadith to mislead others from the way of God without knowledge, and who takes it in ridicule. Those will have a humiliating punishment. So there are people who produce or accept all this external hadith to mislead others from the way of God. Dan di antara manusia, ada orang yang mempergunakan hadis yang tidak berguna untuk menyesatkan manusia dari jalan Allah tanpa pengetahuan dan menjadikan jalan Allah itu olok-olok. Mereka itu akan memperoleh azab yang menghinakan. Okay, this is the last verse, which is the most scary one, I will put it that way. So leave me with whoever denies this hadith or this Quran. We will progressively lead them to punishment from where they do not know. Why I say this is scary? Look at this pronoun is used. Use me. God is referring to himself. He takes it personally. If you reject this, then this will happen to you. It's like there's a personal vendetta. Okay? Maka serahkanlah kepadaku orang-orang yang mendustakan hadis ini. Nanti kami akan menarik mereka dengan berangsur-angsur di arah yang mereka tidak ketahui. Maksudnya ayat yang amat membukakan mata kita kerana dia gunakan perkataan ku mana Allah sendirilah yang menyampaikan ayat ni. Ni macam ibarat personal vendetta, dia sendiri yang akan jalankan. Ibarat cerita Sarjan Hasan, orang kampung jangan masuk campur ni dia nak settle dengan apa? Secara tersendiri, very personal. Okay. So we have completed this topic about hadith, this first part. If there's any questions, please feel free to include it or type it in the chat. Then if there is, we can address the questions. Yeah. Or even those who are here also, if you have a question or you would like to share an experience, please feel free to do so. Because I think majority of the people here, we have experienced the hadith at one form or another throughout our life. And I think for some, the hadith has impacted us in a very significant way. So when we come to learn about what is the hadith in the Quran, we become very shocked and surprised. How come it's so different? Totally, it's like end to end. So I think this is one of the key issues. Like if you understand this concept well, it will actually do you a lot of good. It will probably change your trajectory, how you approach the scriptures. You become more careful and you become more aware of how information is used to deceive, right? Or information is used to divert. As they always say, the devil is in the details. So that's one thing we need to be careful of. Okay, so I don't see any questions so far. So okay, what will happen is this. There will be two other topics coming up depending on the availability of time. So I'm gonna end this stream first and then I'm gonna run a new stream, which is the second topic. Okay, so for those of you who are with us, I strongly suggest that you subscribe because it's easier for you to be notified when I go live. Essentially. Okay, so I'm gonna end the stream now. Then I'm gonna run the second topic. Okay, and I will send the link also for those of you who are connected in the broadcast. So you can just click the link and follow the second stream there. Okay, salam everyone.